Right, I'm here with Coach Eberflus in the lovely English countryside. How are you guys finding it?
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got in a couple days ago, and guys are getting used to the time. And we just had our first or our second walkthrough, so we'll have our first practice today.
We were just discussing before we started that you decided to come over a little bit earlier. What was the thinking behind it? How did you come up with that as your
just
approach?
talking to our performance team once we figured out we were coming here this year, and they just said it was the best, for guys to be able to get used to the time and get their body in the right position for Sunday, and so that's what we did. And the guys feel great today, and we'll have our first practice. So.
And in terms of kind of how the squad's looking, what's your injury latest? Everyone okay? You're looking in good shape after the flight?
Yeah, we're in good shape. We're in good shape. Game 5, so it's game 5 was a little bit. Last week was a little bit. Now we're into game 6. So I think it's important that we stay healthy. And the guys have been doing a really good job of taking care of their bodies, in between the games. So that's been important.
In terms of London, if I've done my research correctly, have you've been here once before? Was it with the Cowboys?
Yeah, it was 2014, I believe, with the Cowboys. Cowboys versus the Jags, I think.
Any particular memories of that?
We were downtown. We stayed downtown, I think, at the Grosvenor.
I believe. The Grove, yeah.
Yep, the Grove. And we had Friday night dinner, I think, was at the Castle.
Right.
So that was really cool with the Jones family. So it was good, because we won the game. But overall experience was great.
Have you been kind of aware of how things have been growing over here? Because I've been covering this sport over here for a long time, and it feels like this year more than ever, like it's really taking hold. Like the Vikings made Tottenham a sea of purple last weekend. Have you kind of got that feeling, that vibe?
Yeah, I think it's a really easy travel to get over here for people that want to come over, and I know Chicago Bears fans travel well, so we'll have a bunch of Chicago Bear fans here, which is great, and I just think it's a great place to come watch football.
But obviously football becomes the focus. You guys are in good shape. Your form has turned around. Can you put your finger quite on what's going right or where things have kind of spun for you? Because
it's been a process. This is our third year, so we've drafted well over the first few years, and we've developed those guys, and that's been an important part of it. But we've also signed. Last year we signed a lot of free agents on defense, and this year we signed a lot on offense with the collection of the two first-round picks that we had on offense. So it's been a building process, and then now we're in year 3, and guys are starting to gel together, and you can certainly feel the chemistry of the team is in a positive way, and the guys are working to really just get it right.
It's funny you say that, because we spoke to Charles Tillman earlier this week. And I'm going to read you a quote from him. This is what he said when we asked him about the state of the Bears. He said, "They're a young team. Flus is building something with this organisation and these players. They are buying into what he's selling." How does that fit what you think you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, and it's all about the players, right? It's about the players coming together, and then really working to build those relationships with each other so they have that bond, and then really working towards a common goal. It's always about determination and having the ability to work through adversity, and that makes you stronger. And we certainly have had our share of adversity the first couple of years, and the guys are ready to get this thing going in the right direction, and they're determined to do that. So they've been doing a good job with that.
How much does sort of the last couple of years play a part in building that? Whenever we sort of speak to anyone sort of from your sport, the adversity is really seen as the thing that builds a team and builds a culture. Is that how you feel like the process is going?
Yeah, it's all part of the NFL, right? So these games are so close; they all come down to the fourth quarter, and it doesn't matter what's going on or who you're playing on Sunday. It's the best team that wins, or that plays on Sunday, will win the game, and that's proven. So you got to be good in the fourth quarter. You got to be good in all situations, and you got to be able to stick together. So and pull together to get it done. So we're learning how to do that, and we've done that here the last couple of weeks.
How much does sort of playing in what looks to be a really tough division this year play a part as well? Because we've seen down the years maybe one team can run away with the division, but it doesn't look like anyone's running away with the NFC North this year.
Yeah, it's certainly is showing that way. If you right now, so we'll see what happens, and we got a few weeks until we play division in division, so we'll see where it is, and we're just looking forward to this game, with the Jags, and looking forward to competing with these guys.
You mentioned obviously the Jags. Coach Peterson's been under a little bit of pressure himself. We saw Coach Salah lost his job this week. You guys have you've been given the support that needs. How crucial is that to building a team as well? Because you've said it yourself, there were maybe some tough times over the last couple of years. How difficult is it?
Yeah, just you got to have that, support. You really do. And Ryan and I have been, lockstep all the way through this whole process, and we knew it was going to be a little bit of a turnaround. We had to really rebuild it that first year, started building up the second year, and now we're into the third year. So we knew the process was going to be difficult, and it was going to have some adversity in it. And then the support of the McCaskey family, George McCaskey and the whole McCaskey family has been awesome. They're a wonderful family and a wonderful organization. And then, bringing on Kevin Warren is also a big add for us. So it's been good, and guys have been very supportive, and you have to have that from the top all the way through to be successful.
You spoke a little bit right at the top here about building blocks, and you've just mentioned Ryan there. How great to sort of almost, if you're going to be at the start of a journey, to be in unison with someone, whether down free agency, whether the culture, all those different levels. Like, did you guys set out from early on? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3?
Yeah, we built our relationship up before we both got the job, so we already knew each other. Mm-hmm. And our likes and dislikes in terms of our philosophies matched up really well, and that's why it was a partnership from the beginning. And it's been really good to work through and grow with him as we go through the process, and it's been good.
And how pleasing from your point of view to see the guys you've drafted do so well? Obviously this year's draft class will get immediate attention, and we'll come to that in a second, but those guys that you've sort of added over the years.
Yeah, I mean, our first 2 draft picks were, Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker. Those guys are starting in our secondary and have been really good additions for us, and they're really good players, and they've been very productive for us. And then, the next year we added a couple more guys. Javon Dexter was another guy we added. Tyreek Stevenson is another guy we've added in that second year. And then Darnell Wright, our starting tackle. Mm-hmm. And then this last year, our 2 first-round picks, Caleb, and Rome in the first round. So we've done a good job of drafting, the scouting department, Ryan, and selection. And our biggest thing is that we want talented players, that are long, fast, and good players and all that, but they got to love football. And we found out that if guys love football, they already are good teammates because they work at their craft. They bond well with their teammates. Just because of the love of the game. And we seek that in all of our players.
You're a defensive coach first. Did you kind of consciously make a decision to go defense first? Because it feels like maybe that's where the platform was laid for you guys.
Yeah, we wanted to really see, take the best players. Is that kind of our philosophy? And those guys were there for us. And we certainly did build the defense up a little bit, with the draft picks, mm-hmm. and then obviously free agency first. And we were fortunate to be able to, get the finances right and everything, right in terms of that side of it, to sign some really good free agents in the offensive side this year. So, we're excited about where we are.
And then obviously, like, the sort of cherry on top of all that was being able to pick the quarterback that you wanted. How happy are you with Caleb?
Yeah, extremely. He's done everything we asked. He's always leveled up to all challenges that we've asked him to do. And he's just improving every single week. Yeah. He's good enough. He's got the talent to really be excellent in this league, and he's just learning his way. And we're finding our winning formula as we go through this process. And again, it changes every week, and we're going to have adversity, and we're going to have moments where we're doing really well. We got to have learning moments and really process, what we go through. Good, bad, or indifferent. We got to keep learning from all these exposures and experiences that we have as an offense, as a football team in general. So, and we're doing that right now.
There's a really good stat doing the rounds over the last sort of week, and sort of Caleb's split between his first sort of 10 quarters and his second 10 quarters. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you don't look at the tinier things. You look at much more detail than that. But can you put your finger on what might have gone right over the last maybe couple of weeks that's just sort of made him make maybe just a little bit more of a leap? I think we all expect him to keep growing.
Yeah, he's comfortable, right, in the offense. He's starting to understand the concepts and the continuity with him and the receivers. The protection's been firmer. So the process of just really him going through the exposures of the first, 4 games, 5 games, now the 6th game. So I think it's important that he just keeps learning and growing as we go through the process. And that to me is the most important thing.
Can a trip like this help in that way? Because you kind of all come out of your comfort zone a little
mm-hmm.
bit and what you're used to, and maybe just kind of spend a little bit more time with each other. And does that make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of unique that way because we spend a lot of time with each other. Okay. So we spend the 9-week off-season program when they come back in April, all the way through when they leave in June. That whole process for us is building relationships. So we spend a lot of time outside the building. It could be at my house,
Okay.
having food trucks at my house, doing games or whatever that is, competition games, or we had a golf theme this year
Yeah.
where we all learned how to play golf. We taught the players how to play. Then we had a big function at a golf course. So we're always doing those things and spending time with each other. We have, meetings with each other that we talk about each other personally, and then we kind of separate those groups through the course of that 9-week off-season program, and get to touch each other in terms of getting to know each other better during that process.
It sounds like, listening to you speak about that, we obviously can watch Hard Knocks over here now. The internet and everything is a wonderful world, and we moved on in a lot of ways. That sounds like just as important to you in terms of building your team. Like, we all talk about X's and O's, and we all get into the offense and the defense, but that being able to kind of bring a group of guys together, is that important to you?
Yeah, I think it is. It's not just for the wins and losses either. I think it builds a special bond with each other. It builds a special team that can do special things. And I think if you have that, when adversity hits, you guys will pull together rather than pulling apart because you know somebody personally.
We touched on Caleb. He obviously is going to kind of be tied to Jaden Daniels quite a bit through through their careers, given that they both went 1 and 2. We've seen it all the way down the years. If I take you back to the start of your whole draft process, when it may have been clear that a quarterback was going to be where you were looking, how closely did you look at Jaden? I'm sure Caleb was always your guy, but what did you like in Jaden Daniels as well?
Yeah, Jaden's a really good talent, and he can really throw the ball. He's very mobile. He can scramble, to run, or scramble to throw, and you've seen what he's done so far this year, and very accurate. And certainly liked a lot of things about him, but we just thought that Caleb, had the stuff that we were looking for.
Yeah.
And it's just to each his own, right? So it's really just what we were looking for, and we're glad we have Caleb.
If I could ask you to put what you're looking for maybe into a sentence or into a couple of words for the Bears, what would it be?
Yeah, just competitive. We want to be competitive at everything we do. We want to get better every single week, and we want to do it together. That's a big thing for us. We want to play complementary football, offense, defense, and kicking, working as one Chicago Bear team. And that's what we want to do every week.
And so that takes us to the weekend, where it looks to me, from the outside looking in, you are getting better week by week by week. What represents progress alongside a victory, obviously, this weekend?
Yeah, just, again, going through the process and making sure we're playing good complementary football. And we know it's going to be very competitive. This league is very competitive that way. Like I said, the best team wins on Sunday. So we got to do a great job of getting our preparation done over the next few days and getting ourselves ready mentally and emotionally and physically to play a good game on Sunday.
A final question is, one of the Jags' sort of main weapons has emerged as Brian Thomas, yet another young receiver. You've got one yourself in Rome. Sort of bit of a passion project of mine is trying to work out what it is about these receivers that's helping them make the transition so much. What do you think it might be?
Yeah, those two players that you mentioned, Thomas, and Adunze, they both have great passion for the game. And again, I was at his workout too, and really fast player. Rome is a fast player. They can take the top off the defense, catch the deep ball, and both are very, they love the game of football, and you can tell that. And both are having a great season so far. And
you've coached defense for such a long time. What have you noticed anything change about the receivers coming into this league? It feels like the last maybe 5-6 years in particular, those guys just come in sort of almost ready straight away. Yeah, they really do. Very mature. The last 5 or 6 years, you can see that. Very big receivers for the most part. There's been a couple guys that were undersized that were special too. But very mature for their age and ready to go. Coach, listen, we really appreciate your time and for bringing us into your office. All the very best this weekend, and good luck.
Thanks for having me on.